Hello Sumit, you're welcome to another beautiful video tutorial. So in this video I am combining these two dresses together to get mine done. I want the lower part of the blue dress, okay, but I want the upper part of the pink dress on it because the blue dress is a strap corset and I cannot wear it because of my body. Okay, and again another difference is that it is not fitted on the waistline for me because of my tummy. If you used to my video, you know I don't make fitted dresses for myself because of my body shape. Okay, so the dress is carrying a pocket. This is the back side. So we are going to be recreating this dress and the Queen Anne neckline. If this is like what you want to know how to make, stick around. Let's get
So to get
started.
started, I have 4 yards of the shirt fabric that I'm using. Okay, so now I already have my basic gown pattern drafted out, right? So from my shoulder to the waistline that you're seeing here, where the dart legs are, is 15 inches. So from the waistline, I'm coming down by 4 inches, okay? I've already gone ahead to take my dart, okay? Now my dart line is 4 inches, which means my nipple to nipple is 8 inches. Divide by 2 is 4, okay? So from the waistline, I'm coming down by 4 inches. Take note of the markings I'm making. Then from the dart leg, I'm extending it by 1 inch forward because I felt like it is not so wide at the middle. Okay, then on this other part, on the center front, I marked 5.5 to create a slant, but I'm not going to make the slant straight to the center front. It's going to end at the 1 inch I extended from the dart leg. Okay, so now I'm going to mark the 5.5 on the dart leg area. So I'm going to make my slant. You see that it is not straight, so it is slanted. You can decide to use your straight ruler at this point to create that slant from the waistline to the dart leg area. So you can see it that is slanted. So I'm going to measure whatsoever is left from the center front to where the dart leg is about 3 inches. I'm going to extend the 3 inches all the way to the full length of the gown. So the full length of the gown here is 50 inches because it's not a short dress. I don't want it short. I made it 3/4. Okay, so you can see that on the lower part I went ahead to add extra 2 inches to it. So now I'm going to mark the 3 inches straight down to the lower part. Then I'm going to rule a straight line. Okay, you can see what I'm doing. So you just follow the markings and the step. Okay, so now after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to extend the measurement to the extra 2 inches I added to the lower part. I was thinking 55 was too long, so I had to extend it to make sure it is 55 inches altogether. That's the extra line you are seeing there. So the 3 inches we've ruled, now I'm going to take it straight down. So after doing that now, with all the markings we've made in the front pattern, we are going to extend it to the back pattern. So now from the waistline on the, for the front, we came down by 4 inches on the waistline. We are just repeating the same thing to the back pattern because they have to be equal so that when you are joining it, the markings will align. Okay, so from the waistline, I came down by 4 inches and I did 5.5, 1 inch away from the dart leg. Then I'm just going to extend the remaining markings straight to the full length of the dress and I will connect with a straight line. It's just basically same thing we did for the front pattern that we are repeating for the back pattern. So I will just go ahead and do that quickly so that I can go to the next level. So now what I want to do, I will go ahead and label it. Now this is the front piece. We're going to be having two pieces. We're cutting this part away. That's the side piece. So that one is the back. So I'm going to name it the back side piece and the back center piece. So this other one I've labeled, I'm going to correct it. This one is the front center piece, the other side is the front side piece. This part is the center. Okay, so that we don't mistake one for another. Okay,
So now after doing this, we are going to cut this lower part out first from both the front and back. This part that we've created that will serve as the gather part, we are going to cut it away. Okay, so I'm just going to do that quickly so we can go to the next phase. So you should take note of the points I'm cutting so you don't make mistake. Okay, so I'm just going to cut the parts out for both the front and back, and after cutting it out, we're going to focus on just the upper part. So I'm going to keep these two pieces aside. We'll come back to it later. So for now, we're focusing on the upper part of the dress. So right now, I'm going to be extending the dart. Now, don't forget that my dart intake is 4 inches. I'm going to extend it to the shoulder. I will mark 4 inches and I will connect a straight line to the dart leg that stops at the bust point, which is the nipple point and the apex. Then to the left I will mark 1 inch, to the right I will mark 1 inch, and I will connect. So we're creating a tightening. Okay, so I'm going to connect it straight to the half inch I came up with from the bust point area. So after connecting it like this, we've created the shoulder dart. We succeeded in creating a shoulder dart for the front pattern. Don't forget that it is the front pattern we are working on like this. So the 2 inches now that we've used for the shoulder dart, we have to return it. Okay, you have to return it to the side because we are going to be creasing it away, and because we'll be creasing it away, if you do not return it, my shoulder measurement is 7.5, it will go to 2.5 if you don't return the 2 inches. So make sure you use your curve ruler. After marking the 2 inches, use your curve ruler to reconnect it to your bust measurement like you see me do in the video. So after connecting it like this, I'm just going to connect the shoulder slope accordingly. So after connecting the shoulder slope like this, we are done with the shoulder dart and the neckline measurement. So the next thing we'll be doing now is that we will go ahead to do our normal bustier pattern. Okay, so we're going to continue by imputing our normal bustier pattern on the paper. So my normal dart intake is 2.5. So I'm doing unequal dart, which means the part that will be at the center will be having 1 inch, the other side will be having 1.5. So I'm going to mark it from the under bust to the lower part of the shirt. Okay, then I will connect a straight line like so. So after doing it like this, now you know that the other dart in between does not count anymore. It's because I made a basic bodice, a basic gown pattern. That's why that dart is there, but it doesn't count anymore. Okay, so from the bust point area, I will come down by ½ inch. Then I will connect with my pattern master ruler. From that ½ inch I came down with, I will connect it to the other dart leg like you can see me do in the video. If you're used to making your bustier, you understand what I'm saying perfectly well. So after doing that, the next thing I want to do, this is me cross-checking it. The 2.5 now, I will have to return it back to the side. The 2.5 I've used for the dart intake has to be returned to the side. If not, your measurement is not going to be complete because we'll be cutting it away. So you can see me connecting it, right? First of all, I connected it to the waistline, and I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect it to the lower part. So now we've succeeded in returning the 2.5 to it. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and take my bust dart. Okay, so I went ahead to mark the bust dart like so. Can you see what I'm doing? After connecting the bust dart, now the next thing we'll be focusing on now is the Queen Anne neckline and the shoulder neckline. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to cross-check my measurement if it's correct. Now you know that on the waistline, I already added 1 inch for the normal gown dart. So that 1 inch now, I'm going to mark it away because it has already been added to my normal waist measurement before I am adding the 2.5 again. Do you get? So if I should leave it that way, the waist is going to be bigger than my normal waist measurement. So I wanted to use my tippers to wipe it out, but my tippers, there is no more tippers inside, so I hope you don't get confused. That's why I'm bringing the black marker to mark the 1 inch away. You can see what I'm showing us. I have to remove it from the waistline so that I will reconnect it. It doesn't become so shapeless anymore. Can you see it? So I'm reconnecting the waistline. So don't get confused. This other part does not count anymore. The new waistline is my original waistline measurement. So after doing that, the next thing we'll be focusing on now is to go ahead and cut. So I'm going to cut the dart leg open, right, straight to the bust point, so that I can close the bust dart, which is also known as the side dart. So you can see me separating the front from the back so that it will be easy for me to close the bust dart. Okay, so after doing that, I will just go ahead and crease it. Then I will tape it down with my paper tape. And after taping it out, you can see that the lines are no more equal. I'm going to reconnect. Don't forget the lines that we're connecting to, the line we are connected to, because the other one does not count anymore. I hope you understand. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to work on the Queen Anne neckline. We're working on the neckline. You know the dress is carrying Queen Anne neckline, so we have to close the shoulder dart also for us to be able to create the desired neckline that we needed for the dress. So I'm going to go ahead to also tape this part down. So after taping it down, the next thing we'll be doing now is to determine the neckline actually. So from the shoulder part, I'm coming down by 6.5. okay, you can see me marking it. Then I went in by 2 inches to create the Queen Anne neckline. Okay, then on the front pattern, I am also going to come down by 6.5. okay, so I'm going to use my curve ruler, but I felt like the 6.5 is going to be too straight. I need a little curve. Say I came down from the 6.5, I came down by 1 inch again, which make it total of 7.5. So I'm going to use my pattern master ruler to connect from that 7.5 straight to the 6.5 on the side, on the armhole line. Okay, you can see the curve that we've created. So now this is 2 inches from the armhole line, so I connected it straight to the neckline area. You know our neckline measurement is 3 inches. Don't exceed 3 inches. If you want the Queen Anne to really show very well, your neckline width should not exceed 3 inches. Okay, so now I realized that the 2 inches I came out with from the armhole curve part is too big, so it's not making the Queen Anne to be so visible. Like, it's not curvy enough to my liking. That's why you can see me reconnecting. So I removed like half an inch again from it, which means that from the armhole line I came in by 1.5 of an inch. If it's too thick, the Queen Anne neckline you're trying to create will not be visible. Okay, so after that I went ahead to cut it out. You can follow and you can see how I am cutting it so you don't make mistake. So like this now, the front pattern is ready, you can see. So we're making a tube, we're making a bustier on a dress. Okay, so now this is the back pattern. The back pattern is very simple to work on. I just extended the dart straight to the chest line. Then from the neckline, I came down by 2 inches. Now the normal measurement for the neckline is 3 inches for the width, 1 inch for the depth. So from that 1 inch, I came down by 2 inches. Then I'm connecting it to the side. I marked 1 inch away from the dart leg to do this connection. You can see here like so. So we're creating the opening on the back already. So I went ahead to cut it out to give us the back neckline. So you can see what we have here. So that's the opening. You can see at the back, I went ahead to cut the dart away from it. So the back pattern is also ready. Very simple and very easy. So here on the fabric, I've already arranged the fabric on the table. Here on the table, you can see we have the front pattern on the fabric. I've already pinned everything. So now that you can see the upper part, everything we're pinned, we have to work on the lower part. Okay, you know the dress is carrying gather by the side, so if you just go ahead to cut it like this, it will not work. So I'm creating slash and spread. I'm cutting the paper into 3 pieces. Okay, so after cutting it into 3 pieces like this, the next thing I will have to do now is to spread it. Don't forget that my fabric is on fold. I folded the fabric into 2 already. Take note of that. And the center front is on fold. Okay, you don't cut it one piece. Okay, so you can see me, I spread the fabric to the edge where my folded fabric ends. Okay, so that's where I spread the fabric to. So you can see what I am doing here like this. I wanted to create a straight line. I created a straight line to serve as a guide to spread the slashes I have made. Okay, but at the end of the day, I took it lower than that point, because by the time we'll be joining this lower part now to the other side, I'll be needing ½ inch to join the lower part to the upper part. I'll be needing ½ inch of the upper part to join the upper part to the lower part. That's why I left space on the upper part, and you can see that the paper is extending below the normal line. Okay, so I went ahead to pin everything, and after pinning it, I went ahead to reconnect a straight line, because this part has to be straight. You have to take note of that. It has to be straight, so you make sure it's straight, so that at the end of the day, by the time you finish sewing it, your work is accurate. So I went to reconnect another line for the lower part of it. Okay, so after doing that, I went ahead to add ½ inch straight to the upper part. You know, we'll be joining this part together, so I added ½ inch like so. So this ½ inch now, I'm going to add all the way through to the upper part of it. You can just watch and see how I'm doing it. I'm adding ½ inch to all the parts I will be joining together. Okay, can you see it? The ½ inch all through. Then on the sides of the part, I added 1.5 for my seam allowance, because on the pattern I didn't add seam allowance on the pattern paper. That's why you're seeing the 1.5 on the side. You can see it clearly now how it is. So the next point now, I will go ahead and cut this part away. Can you see what I'm doing? So like this now, the upper part is ready. You can see me cutting everything away. So I didn't add. If you're making yours without a sleeve, please add to your own. Add if you're making without a sleeve, add ½ inch to the armhole part, so that it doesn't expose your armpit. Okay, so I went ahead to cut this part also, and after cutting it, this is what we have. I added extra 2 inches to the lower part of it. Okay, because you know that we already creased 2 inches away from the for the bust dart. So you can see me notching it, so I will know which place is coming to the other side, because you might just mistake the side for the center, which at the end of the day your work will not be accurate. So always label and always mark. So now we're done with the back pattern. This is the front. We're done with the front pattern. This is the back pattern. Now I went ahead to do my zipper tightening at the back, and the ½ inch I used for zipper tightening, I added it to the side before adding my 1.5 seam allowance to the side, as you can see. Then I added ½ inch all through that I will use to join, just like we did for the front pattern. It's the same thing I'm doing for the back pattern. So the next thing I will do now is to go ahead and cut everything out. So after cutting it out now, we can now go to the next phase. You can see it here that is still not equal, it's still the same thing. So now, because of the space in between that we used to join, so don't forget the extra 2 inches I added to the front pattern because of the bust dart that we've creased away. Okay, you have to add it back, if not the front will be shorter than the back. Take note of that. So I went ahead to cut 4 pieces of fabric that we used to create a pocket, because I needed a pocket in the dress. So this is the pieces of fabric I'll be using as the pocket. I will keep that aside. Then I went ahead to cut everything, and the back pattern is ready. So another thing you need, as you can see, there is no lining in this dress, so I went ahead to cut facing for both the front and the back pattern. This is the back pattern I'm working on, and this is me cutting facing for the back pattern. So after cutting the facing like this, I'm still going to go ahead to cut facing for the front pattern. So the facing depends on how you want it, how big you want it. Okay, so after getting all the curves in the right places, I went ahead to trim it according to my choice. At this point, the other one wasn't there, so I have to put them together to make sure that they are accurate. Okay, so I'm just going to trim the facing according to how I want it, because I do not want it too big. Okay, I do not want it too big. And mind you, I am making this bustier dress without wording or anything. It's just the fabric I'm using, because I'll be wearing it with a strapless bra. So that's why I did it this way. So this is the facing for the back pattern. We will also go ahead and cut the facing for the front pattern after this. So if you're still watching at this point and you find this video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Then this is the other side for the back. Yes, this is the other side for the back, and I'm cutting facing for it too. Okay, so you have to cut it according to the pieces of fabric, like the main dress you're working on. That's what you will use to cut the facing, so that it can fit in properly. So this is just me measuring it to make sure that they are of the same weight. One is not longer than the other, because by the time I finish sewing it and I weave everything together, it will align properly. So this is the front pattern, the facing I have cut for the front pattern, but it is too big because it's extending to the armhole and I don't want it that way, so I'm just going to make it smaller. But before then, I have to measure it with the one I have for the back neckline, so that the shoulder part is equal. One is not bigger than the other. So after putting it that way, I went ahead to trim from the front facing, and this is what we have. So like this now, we are done cutting both the front and back, but you know the center piece for the front facing, I have to make sure that it is equal also, because I've gone ahead to cut it, and this one is on fold, because you know the center front is on fold, so the facing has to be on fold. So you can see how the facing is aligning very well with everything. So now I'm just going to spread everything and remove the pins, because what we'll be doing now, we'll be joining everything together. So at this point, the video is becoming too long, and there is going to be a part 2. The part 2 will be me coupling everything up, how to join everything together, how I sewed everything, how I attached the facing, how I did everything correctly. That is going to be in the part 2 of this video. So stick around, because the next video I will be uploading is going to be the part 2 of the video. The link will be in the description box of this one. Bye.